Hey everyone, this is Lisa from the Rhinestone World, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use Silhouette Studio Business Edition to use the TRW Live Templates that we're providing. Now, one thing to note is that our TRW Live Templates do work in Business Edition. However, it does take some additional editing. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to find your live templates from our installer, which designs work well, and which designs won't work in Business Edition. So one reason why we need Business Edition is that these files need to be opened as CorelDRAW files. Now, the reason why is that SVG files, once they are converted out, they are converted into lines. And one of the functionalities of a live template is we want to be able to keep the font and retype whatever we want. So when it's exported out as a Corel file and opened in Business Edition, we still have the capability of editing the font. So let's go ahead and get started on how to find our file. So we're just going to go to our File Explorer. We're going to click this little envelope or folder to open. And these are stored on our PC. So we're going to go over to this PC, and we're going to start off with our local disk or C drive. So let's click on there. And then users. Now after users, we want to go to our public folder, and we want to go to our public documents. So public documents, and then you can see the Rhinestone World. Let's open up the Rhinestone World, and now we have our categories of clip art, designs, documents, fonts, and templates. So whenever you download something that has an installer, the different parts of that are going to be put into its folder. So let's go over here, and we're going to go to our templates. And we're going to start off with our Word Layout Mini Pack. So you can see it says CDR at the end. Let's go ahead and open that up. And so now you can see our different designs in here. So these are CorelDRAW files. One reason I can tell is that I have CorelDRAW on my computer, so it'll show me a little logo. You should see CDR on here somewhere. So let's go ahead and get started and open one of these. Let's go ahead and open this design. So when you get a design over there, you'll notice we do have to rearrange just a little bit. Right now it's grouped together. So let's go ahead, right click, and ungroup. So now you can see I just need to kind of move things over. Let's kind of move this little guy, move this, and put this right there. So not a whole lot of editing, just a tiny bit. And I can kind of take my mouse and kind of nudge that a little bit too. So now we have our enjoy the small things, and if I want to change my font, because I can double click on here, I have that green line, which means I'm in text edit mode, and I can change it to whatever I'd like. So a little bit of editing, but you can get this to work in Silhouette Studio. So some of our live templates have text that curves or other things like that. We can make that work in Business Edition, and I'm going to show you how in this next section. So let me go ahead and open up a file. And let's go back, and I'm going to go over to our dog live templates. So let's open our dog live templates, and I'm going to find our design that curves. So we're going to kind of take it and grab probably this little design right here. So in loving memory, our Rocky. So now you can see we have a group of this together, but you can see that some of my text is not in the right place. So let's go ahead, ungroup. And you can see it's kind of been separated out. So we can kind of move this little guy over and move this over. So we have a little bit of basic editing that we can do. Now, one thing to note about our live templates is that there are lines in here that are used to manipulate our text. So what we want to do in Business Edition is we want to turn on our line color. So let's highlight our whole design. Right here, you can edit your line color. I'm going to click on here and turn it red so I can see. So when you go in here, you can see that there's a lot in here. So one thing to note is that this line around the outside of our design is what we curve our text on. So just like we do in Silhouette Studio, we're going to take our text and curve it around that line. So let's go ahead, double click. We're in text edit mode. And let me zoom in so I can see this a little bit better. We're going to take our mouse, drag it down to this line, and we're going to get that to curve. So once this compass touches that line, that's when it starts to curve around our object. So we can kind of bring this down, and so now we have this all set. And we can retype this. We love you. And let's get rid of these right here. And let's get rid of that little I at the end. And now we would just have to take our little compass, kind of move this back right here. We have that all set. So now we're going to kind of follow the same rules that we normally do with curving text. We want to make sure we convert our text to an object. So let's go ahead, I'm just going to kind of move this out of the way for now. So right now, the way our text stays on here is it's because it's attached to that circle. We want to convert this text over to an object so we don't have that problem. So let's go ahead, right click, convert to path, and now if I move it like this, it stays in that circle. So let's go ahead, grab the circle, and delete it. So now we can see we have another one. Let's just click on there, delete it. And sometimes it'll grab the inside one and not the outside. So you want to zoom in, kind of grab this one, and delete that. So we have that all set. And after that, it's just some basic editing to make sure we don't have overlapping lines. Because we have our little dog here, we want to kind of get rid of that. So you have a couple different options there. You can either create space with an offset, or you can go ahead, grab your dog, grab your bone, and we would just go to our modify panel and do a subtract all. So that'll get rid of the background of our dog right there. So that's a basic way to make that sort of live template work in Business Edition. So the last thing I'm going to show you is one thing that unfortunately does not work. So let's go ahead and open up one last file. And I'm going to grab this design right here. So you can see we have our text here, and in the preview, our text curves. But the problem is that that uses an envelope feature of CorelDRAW and the Design Wizard. And unfortunately, that is one thing that doesn't translate over to Silhouette Studio. So even if I go over here and turn on my line colors, you'll see that that envelope that guides our text is not there. So unfortunately, that is one thing that we cannot do in Silhouette Studio Business Edition. However, there are different features you can use to kind of make it work. We can go ahead, ungroup this, and we can use our warp panel to kind of change things around. So you would do this, and towards the bottom over here, we have our warp right here. So this is in Designer Edition and up. So let's go open our warp panel. Let's warp our selected shapes. And we can basically use points in here to change how our text looks. Now this function does take some practice. This is something that you would be familiar with point editing. This would be a good transition. But again, we learn everything through practice, so you can make it work. It just may take a little bit more time. So that is how we can get live templates to work in Business Edition. Of course, everything does have its limitations, but hopefully this video kind of helps you see what you can do and what you can't do. And of course, if you have any more questions, you can call or email us or comment below.